Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Meydan Racecourse here on Dubai World Cup night. It is Saturday, the 26th of March, 2022. I'm going to look at all the races on tonight's program from Meydan, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. I mean around the world. Remember to join me today for my Lincoln preview from Doncaster, and also next Saturday for my Florida Derby preview from Gulfstream. Some great races the next few weekends, so just join me here on YouTube for that. But we have 9 races to look at. Let's get to it, starting with the first race. It's for the purebred Arabians. It is the Group 1 Dubai Kahayla Classic. It's Group 1 event going for a purse of $1 million, race for 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 16 purebred Arabians going the distance of ground of 2,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 1.25 miles on the Meydan main dirt course. 2,000 meters, 1.25 miles here in the Kahayla Classic. And I show the diagram. It gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. Sorry, I'm stupid. I can't do 2 things at the same time. My top selection, I'm going to go take the number 11 horse, Juata de Manalou, as a top selection. I'm going to go 11, 8, 12 in the tri-cash trifecta. 11, 8, 12 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection, 11 horse Juata de Manolo. The 6-year-old colt here, Jean-Claude Pecot, trains when Fernando Yara gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 5th of March here at Meydan. Super Saturday, 1.25 miles in the Maktoum Challenge round 3 for the purebred Arabians, and the horse won by 5.5 lengths, and he basically won on the front end that day. He basically set his own fractions. He quickened up nicely, and he kept going. An all-around easy victory here. Coming back to Meydan, you know, a very decent, easy run. Doesn't need the lead. If he doesn't get the lead, it shouldn't be so bad, but I would like to see him a little bit closer. I think he could really run a good race. They've been running him a little bit too long, I thought, at some parts of his career. Most recently, 2 back at Abu Dhabi, I thought they ran him a little bit too long. A mile 3/8 in the Group 1 President's Cup on 14th of February. He finished 5th by 3.25 lengths. He just kind of stalked, and then he kind of hit the wall late in that final 2 furlongs or so. He just wasn't keeping up with the extra mile 3/8, and then on the lane on the 22nd of January, 1.25 in a conditions race, he finished 3rd. He kind of stalked. He needed that extra turn of foot. He also had a high weight, which cost him, but he still ran his heart out there off a little bit of refreshing. Before that, he ran the Emirates Championship at Abu Dhabi last March, a mile 3/8 there on the turf, finished 9th by 9 lengths. And again, he just wasn't keeping up with those horses that afternoon. But this season, he's really run decently. Back to the 1.25 today. He's drawn well. I think a 5:20 is a very likely winner. The 8-horse Hadi de Carrera is your second likeliest winner. He won most recently in Saudi Arabia in the big Arabian Classic Cup on Saudi Cup night. Going 1.25 miles, he won by a nose. He took full advantage of that long stretch, and he got there in nick of time. Before that, he had a disappointing reappearance at Poe in a 1.25 mile stakes race, but that was basically a prep race. Coming here off the quick turnaround, I think at 3-1, he's another very likely winner. Definitely use him in the place pot or the multi-race wager. But to recount my selection for the first from Meydan, it's the Dubai Kahayla Classic. We're going to take the number 11 horse Juata de Manalou as a top selection. Give kudos to the 8-horse Hadi de Carrera. 11, 8, 12 tri-cash trifecta. 11, 8 in your place pot. Let's get to the second race now. It starts for the thoroughbred horses. The second race from Meydan. It is the Group 2 Godolphin Mile. It's a Group 2 event going for a purse of $1 million. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Excuse me. We have a field of 16 horses entered to go the distance of ground here of 1,600 meters, or guess what? The 1 mile trip in the Godolphin Mile. 1,600 meters, 1 mile in the Godolphin Mile. My top selection, we're going to go take the number 3 horse Banquet as a top selection. Let's go 3, 1, 14 in the tri-cash trifecta. 3, 1, 14 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection, 3 horse Banquet. 6-year-old horse by Central Banker. Steve Asmussen trains when Jose Ortiz gets the mount. 10-1. The horse's seasonal reappearance came to Oakland 19th of March, 1 mile and ops 50 claimer, and the horse finished 5th by 5 lengths. You know, he was very lackadaisical early on. Didn't show a lot of pace. He moved a little bit late, but it wasn't anything spectacular. Coming here, second off the bench, going to see a good pace in front of him coming from mid-pack. I think he could really run a good race here today. 2 back, he ran at Monmouth on the 17th of July, mile 8th in the Grade 3 Monmouth Cup, and he finished 3rd by 3 lengths that afternoon, and he just kind of stalked all the way around the race course, had the lead, and then he just kind of was flat. Dr. Post and the night ops got to him. He just couldn't keep up late, and then before then, the commentator at Belmont on a muddy seal going 1 mile 31st of March, he won by 13.5 lengths, facing New York State horses. He basically won it on the front end very, very easily on a day that speed was very, very good at Belmont. When it's what at Belmont in general. The speed really holds up. And then before that, at Oakland, a mile late last April, an off 6-2 claimer. He finished second by 7 lengths. The winner really just ran a terrific race, but this horse was closing up well. He's training well at Oakland. Like I said, he should see a good pace to run with. I think at 10-1, he's a live horse. Don't throw out the one horse Al Nafud as your second likeliest winner. They ran in the Maktoum Challenge round 2 a few weeks ago over the Mount 3/16 around 2 turns, where he finished second by 5.5 lengths, and he just couldn't keep up with Hot Rod Charlie. I do like him back to a mile trip. He doesn't need the lead. He gets stalk on the closer to the pace with the go post draw, and it wouldn't surprise me if he wins. We'll definitely use him in the multi-race or the place pot, but to recount my selection for the second from Meydan, it's the Group 2 Godolphin Mile. We're going to take the 3-horse Bankit as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 1-horse Al Nafud and 3-1-14 Tricast Trifecta 3-1 in your multi-race. The third race now from Meydan, it is the Dubai Gold Cup. It's great. It's a Group 2 event going for a purse $1 million, races for 3-year-olds and upwards. Stayers here. We have a field of 13 stayers, a baker's dozen, going the distance of ground of 3,200 meters, or the distance of ground of 2 miles on the Meydan turf course. 3,200 meters, 2 miles here in the Dubai Gold Cup. Keep wanting to call this race the City of Gold, but that's on what do you call that? Super Saturday. But my top selection here in the Gold Cup, I'm going to go with the number 12 horse. The number 12 horse, who is Manobo. We'll go 12-8-9 in the Tricast Trifecta. 12-8-9 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection, 12 horse Manobo. This 4-year-old gelding by Sea the Stars. Charlie Appleby trains. William Buick gets the mount. He's 1-2 here, but I know it's a short price, but he's a very likely winner. Most recently, they ran the Natal Sheep Trophy here at Meydan. I'm out 3/4 on the 18th of February, and he won by 5.5 lengths. And he basically had a dream position, stalking all the way around. When he quickened up, he got the job done in hand. An all-around easy race, drawn very well here today, going to the 2 miles, which shouldn't be a problem. I think he's on the up and up, and I think he could be a serious stayer as the season goes on in Europe. 2 back in the Group 2 pre-Chardonnay at Longshot, mile 78 on the 2nd of October, on very soft ground. He won by 3/4 in length. He had to be used a lot that day, but he got the job done, easily late. But he does go up a lot better with firm ground. If the ground was a little bit faster, he probably would have won by a dozen. That's how good he ran, I thought, even with the tough conditions. And then prior to that, 10th of September at Saint-Cloud in Paris, a mile and a half in the group in the listed pre-Turin Stakes, he won by 10 lengths, and again, facing nobodies, he just basically stalked and got the job done. The last 5 or 6 years or so, the English-based horses have been doing very well in those listed stakes in France, and this horse, added to the advantage there, just winning very easily at 70 cents a dollar off the bench. Before then, in conditions race at Kempton on the poly track, a mile and a half, he won by 4.5 lengths, and again, he outbroke horribly that day, but after all said and done late, he got the job done. Coming here today, I think he's a very likely winner. Your second likeliest winner here at a bit of a price, and I mean a bit of a price, I think it's the 8-horse Rodrigo Diaz. David Simcock trains when Jamie Spencer gets the mount. Most recently, they ran him in the Natal Sheep Trophy, where he finished 6 by 7 lengths, and he never really ran. But some of his races in the UK last season can definitely win against these horses. If he runs the price like he ran in the Bahrain Turf Series at Newbury last July over the 2 miles 16th, if he runs that race today, he could definitely win, because he's closing up for nowhere that day. And if he runs the race like he did after that in the Freer Stakes, Jeffrey Freer Stakes at Newbury, if he runs that again, he could definitely win. He's going to be closing up from nowhere, but watch out for him late at 15-1. He's the kind of horse I would love to see him run here in America in that Belmont Gold Cup in about 2 months or so on Belmont Stakes weekend. But 15-1, we'll use him on the place pot or the pick 3, whatever we decide to play early on. But to recount my selection for the third from Meydan, it's the Group 2 Dubai Gold Cup. We're going to take the 12-horse Manobo as a top selection, give a price play of the 8-horse Rodrigo Diaz, 12-8-9 Tricast Trifecta, 12-8 in your place pot. The fourth race now from Meydan. It is the Group 1 Quoz Sprint. It's a Group 1 event going for a purse of $1.5 million, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have 16 horses dashing the distance of ground of 1,200 meters, or the 6-furlong trip on the Meydan turf course. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs here in the Quoz Sprint. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number, where are we? I'm going to go with the number 5 horse here, Emirati Anna. We'll go 5, 15, 16 in our Tricast Trifecta. 5, 15, 16 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection of 5 horse Emirati Anna. The 6-year-old gelding by Shamadal. Kevin Ryan trains when Andrea Tazzini gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 5th of March here made on 6 furlongs in the Group 3 Natal Shiva Turf Sprint. And the horse didn't run. He finished 15th by 18 lengths and just never showed up. They wanted to get the race under the horse's belt for the season. They got it. Coming here today, I would like to see this horse more involved early on, where this horse does the better running style early on. I think the horse could go a long way. I'm going to throw out that last race saying that she needed a race, or he needed a race. Coming back here again, I'm going to give him another shot. 2 back in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint at Del Mar, 5 furlongs on 6 November, and the horse finished 4th by 5 lengths, and just kind of stalked from the inside. Could have showed a little bit more speed early on, but that tight turf course at Del Mar, you have to have a good trip. I don't think he had, the best of trips, and basically Golden Pal, nobody was catching that day. And then prior to that at Haydock on firm ground, which is a rarity it seems, but we saw that a lot last summer at Haydock. In the Group 1 Sprint Cup, he won by a nose, and basically from starting position, he fought a good race to the wire with Starman, and he got the nose in front. A very exciting victory from there. And then before that, a 40-1 in the Nunthorpe at York over the 5 on fast ground, which he absolutely adores, finishing second by 1/4 lengths. He stalked. He just couldn't get to Winter Power, but definitely outran his 40-1 odds. He loves the firm ground. He's going to get it today. He's drawn on the stand side. I'm going to give him another shot here at 12-1. I think he got redemption from that last run, and I think he'll get a better price from that disappointing run last time out. Your second leg of this winner here, I think, is the 15 horse. The 15 horse who is Happy Romance. Sean Levy's on this one for Richard Hannon. Most recently in the 1351 Turf Sprint at King Abdulaziz in Saudi Arabia. The horse finished 3rd by a half a length, and he was moving late, but Casa Creed and the winner just had the jump on him, but he still ran his heart out there. He's another horse, firm ground, he's going to absolutely adore. He's drawn well here today in the mid-pack, or towards the inside rail, and he should get a good trip from starting position. As long as he breaks well, he could win. 12-1, a definite horse in the place pond. But to recount my selection for the 4th from Meydan's to Group 1 Quoz Sprint, let's take the 5 horse Emiratiana as a top selection. Give kudos to the 15 horse Happy Romance. 5, 15, 16, tri-cash, trifecta. Let's go 5, 15 in the multi-race. The 5th race now from Meydan. It is the Group 2 UAE Derby. It's a Group 2 event going for a purse, $1 million, race for 3-year-olds here. We have a very good group here of 3-year-olds. Let's see, a field of 16 horses going to post the distance of ground of 1,900 meters, or the distance of ground of 1.316 on the Meydan dirt track. 1,900 meters, 1.316 here in the UAE Derby. Top selection here. I'm going to go take the Godolphin, but it's not the Godolphin you would think of. The 6-horse Combustion will go 6-11-9 in the tri-cash trifecta. 6-11-9 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection of 6-horse Combustion. This 3-year-old colt by Discreet Cat, who won this race, I believe, in 2006. He missed the Derby that year and all the Triple Crown races, but came back to win. I want to say he won the Jerome in the fall at Belmont. Went on to win the Cigar Mile at Aqueduct in the fall of 2006. I remember that day so clearly. I was there. It was my birthday, and he was a great 3-year-old. His 4-year-old campaign, he really didn't run a lot, but God, he was a great horse. But it would be cool for his son to win this race. But William Buick gets on this one. This horse is based in Tokyo, in Japan. Most recently, they ran him in Tokyo Racecourse on 20th of February. A mile muddy going in the Hyacinth Stakes, and he won by a neck that day. And he had a great tracking position. He quickened up nicely in the front end, and he got the job done in hand late. It was a small margin victory, but he really improved. By the way, if you're wondering where you can find the Japanese replays, the JR website now has these races online. Hopefully your Japanese is you could speak Japanese, and because there's no English option yet, but that's great that the Japanese races now you can watch the replays. But off subject, 2 back, he ran at Kawasaki on the 15th of December, 1 mile and a listed stakes there, and he finished second by 2 1/4 lengths, and he just couldn't get around the track that day. It took him a little bit of time to get going. The tight track just got to him, and then before then, a listed stakes at Sonota, 7 furlongs there. He finished second by a neck. Again, just a little bit too late. I do think the 7 was just a little bit too short. Mile 3/16 has some really pace, getting William Buick up. I think this horse is very loaded here. We're going to use this horse along with the number 11 horse here, Pinehurst. 3-year-old colt by Twirling Candy, bound by for Trans. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. Most recently in the Saudi Derby over the mile trip at King Abdulaziz. The horse won by a half length, and from a tracking position, This horse got the job done nicely. Going to the mile 316 shouldn't be a problem. It's very speed favoring track. It wouldn't surprise me if they let this horse basically walk on the front end like they were doing all night long on Saudi Cup and Saudi Arabia, but that's for another day. Before that, the Saudi Derby, he ran the San Vicente at Santa Anita, 7 furlongs, 29th of January, and the horse finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. Forbidden Kingdom really ran a good race and won next start out. This horse just couldn't get there late. I do think he was just a little bit flat off the bench, but coming here today, lesser quality horses than he was facing Southern California. At 3-1, another very likely winner. Definitely use him in the play in the pick for the quaddy that begins with this race. But to recount my selection for the 5th from Meydan, it's to Group 2 UAE Derby. We're going to take the 6-horse Combustion as a top selection. Give kudos to 11-horse Pinehurst, 6-11-9 Tricast Trifecta, 6-11 in your place pot. The 6th race now from Meydan. It is the Group 1 Dubai Golden Shaheen. It's a Group 1 event going for a purse $2 million, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 14 horses heading to the starting gate. The distance of ground of 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the Meydan dirt track, 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs here in the Golden Shaheen. My top selection, I'm going to go take the number... Where are we? I'm going to go take the number 3 horse, Drain the Clock. We'll go 3-2-12 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 3-2-12 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection of 3 horse, Drain the Clock. 4-year-old Colton by McLean's Music. Safi Joseph Jr. trains when Ira Ortiz Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 19th February, Gulfstream, 6 furlongs in the Gulfstream Park Sprint, and the horse finished second by a neck that day. He broke on top. He was up and on the lead all throughout. He just couldn't keep up late. Miles ahead got to him. First off, a little bit refreshing. He did need the race. Also, probably not trying if they knew they had a $2 million prize about 6 weeks later. Coming here to Meydan, very speed favoring track. The American horses always have the advantage, I think, in this race. I think his speed could go a long way here today. 2 back and off, 6-2 at Gulfstream, 6 furlongs, 10th of December. He won by a half length and basically on the front and all throughout. This horse quickened up nicely and it was a serious fast 6 furlongs at 108-3. An all around good race off the bench. And then prior to that, the Allen Jerkins at Saratoga, 7 furlongs, August 28th. The horse finished 4th by 11 1/4 lengths. He just stalked, but just couldn't keep up with the incredible Jackie's Warrior, who basically won it very easily there. Second place finisher was Life is Good, who went on to win in the what was it, the Dwyer next start out, or the Kelso at Belmont, then went on to win the Breeze Cup Dirt Mile in the Pegasus running later today. Third place finisher also was a next start out winner, and guess what, the 4th place finisher was a next start out winner. This horse, that Allen Jerkins in 2021, was probably one of your better races out of the form, with everybody winning next start out of it, and it was only a 6-horse field, but this horse just got beat by a lot of classier horses there. Came back afterwards to win very easily at Gulfstream, and then prior to them, the Amsterdam at Saratoga, 6.5 on the slump. The horse finished second by 7.5 lengths. Again, Jackie's Warrior won easily. This horse just got placed behind a very good horse there. Training well at Gulfstream, has a lot of speed under his belt. At 5-1, watch out for this horse. I think his speed could be a killer. I think the 2 horse Dr. Chevelle is your second likeliest winner. He lost all chances in the Malibu at the beginning, where he just didn't break. Also got beat by Flightline, who's a decent horse. But before that, ran an absolutely amazing place in the Breeze Cup Sprint at Del Mar, and then won the Santa Anita Sprinting Championship before that, even with a broken rein that day, earning 103 by her, which is quite impressive after all said and done. He's another horse, has some serious speed in him. 3-1, use him in the multi-race. And the 12-horse Switzerland, if there's going to be a horse coming from behind, a pace meltdown like that horse, I can't think of his name, from quite a few years ago now, the Chad Summers horse who won this race, closing up from nowhere. If there's a pace meltdown, this horse, Switzerland, I think could run like him. He won here on New Year's Day in the Al Grahan Sprint. Ran a little bit disappointingly in this race last year, but he likes this track. He's 9-2 on it, 15-1. We'll definitely use him the pick 4, but I think that the 2 are the serious top contenders here. But to recount my selection for the 6 from Meydan, it's the Group 1 Dubai Golden Shaheen. We're going to take the 3 horse Drain the Clock as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 2 horse Dr. Chevelle and the 12 horse Switzerland. 3-2-12 Tricast Trifecta, 3-2-12 in the multi-race. Like I said, this is a very exciting race here. Let's get to the 7th race now from Meydan, which is the Dubai Turf. It's Group 1 event going for a purse of $5 million, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have 16 horses we're supposed to run here. We have a few scratches or withdrawals and non-runners. The 4 horses in non-runner and the 7 horses in non-runner. Lord Glitter's disappointing to see him out of it, but we'll be down to a field of 14 going the distance of ground here of 1,800 meters, or the distance of ground as I drop my iPad. This iPad's like 10 years old. It shouldn't drop because it's going to break. It's already running low. But they're going 1,800 meters or mile and eighth in the Dubai Turf, or the Dubai Duty Free, whichever you want to call it. Still call it the Duty Free, even though it has been called that for years. 1,800 meters, mile and eighth. My top selection, we're going to go take the number 9 horse. Hopefully I don't lose my voice, pardon me. It's that time of year where I lose my voice every other week, it seems, with the seasonal allergies starting up again. But my top selection, I'm going to go take the 9 horse Mohafeth as a top selection. We'll go 9, 8, 12 in the tri-cash trifecta. 9, 8, 12 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection 9 horse Mohafeth. This 4-year-old colt by Frankel. William Haggis trains when Jim Crowley gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 18th of August at York, a mile 5/16 in the Group 1 Jedmine International, and the horse finished 4th by 7.5 lengths. And you know, he just really couldn't get there late. He was just a little bit flat. The winner, Mashirif, who went on to win the Saudi Cup last year, who won the Saudi Cup earlier last year, just really was freaking that day, and just this horse wasn't getting to him. Coming here a mile and eighth off the bench, where you'll see a good pace from a good position early on. I think he really run a good race. 2 back in the Group 2 York Stakes at York, a mile 5/16, 24th of July. He finished 3rd by a neck. He didn't break that well. He sat back early, but Bangkok, who won that day, basically set his own fractions and won. But this horse did make the race a little bit interesting late. And then before that, in the Group 3 Hampton Court at Ascot, a mile and quarter on fast ground, the 17th of June. He won by 1 3/4 lengths. Again, he sat back early. He slowly moved his way up, and he got the job done. A very good race from there. And then a Newmarket, and the Newmarket Stakes on the 1st of May over the mile and quarter, winning by 5, and basically just really had his own way that day. An all-around easy race. He likes the fast ground. He's going to get it today. Off the bench, has some early pace if he wants to use it, or he come from behind. A very versatile type. I think at 6:20 he's a very likely winner. Don't throw out the 8 horse here, Lord North. He won this race a season ago very nicely by 3, coming from nowhere. But he's only had 1 race since then. That was the Winter Derby at Lingfield a few weeks ago over the mile and quarter, where he placed that day, where he moved a little bit late, but they weren't really trying with him. Another horse, why try when you're going to run for $5 million a month later when you can run for only 100,000? 3 weeks ago. But he's another horse. He could definitely win off of ability. He likes the firm ground. He's drawn well. He gets Frankie up. 5-1. Another horse, very logical winner. And also talking about him here, the 12 horse Chanel Meister, coming in from Japan, but he's a German bred. He's basically getting some class relief from some of those Japanese races. He's another horse. A mile and eight should be up his alley. He has some forwardly pace. It wouldn't surprise me if this horse wins a 2-1. Definitely use him in the multi-race. But to recount my selection for the 7 from Meydan, it is the Group 1 $5 million Dubai Turf. We're going to take here as a top selection the 9 horse Muafeth as a top selection. Give kudos to the 8 horse Lord North and the 12 horse Chanel Meister. 9, 8, 12 tri-cash trifecta. 9, 8, 12 in the multi-race. Like I said, a very wide open race. These latter end races are a little wide open, I think. But the 8th race from Meydan now, it is the Group 1 Dubai Sheema Classic. It's a Group 1 event going for a purse $6 million, race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 15 horses entered to go to post. The distance of ground here of 2,400 meters, or 1 lap around the Meydan dirt turf track, which is 2,400 meters or a mile and a half in circumference. 2,400 meters, a mile and a half here in the Dubai Sheema Classic. 2,400 meters, a mile and a half. Top selection, we're going to go take the number 14 horse, the 14 horse who is Yabir. 14, 12, 11 for me in the tri-cash trifecta. 14, 12, 11 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection of 14 horse Yabir. 4-year-old Gelman by Dubawi. Charlie Outby trains. William Buick gets the mount. Most recently, the horse in the Breeders' Cup Turf at Del Mar, a mile and a half on the 6th of November. This horse put on a show, winning by a half length, coming up from nowhere. Basically looked like at the 5/8 pole, 5/8 from home, this horse looked done, never really moving, but he slowly moved his way up. When he quickened up, he beat a good group of horses home. That was an all-around good race, earning a 105 buyer. Out of all the races we saw Breeders' Cup weekend at Del Mar, I think his was one of the most impressive. For a 3-year-old to do that, that was good. Before then, in the Jock Club Derby at Belmont, a mile and a half on the 18th of September, winning by 2.5 lengths. He sat back early, slowly moved his way up. When he got the turn of foot, he took off clear. He was drifting a little bit late, but that's because he was out in front by a bunch. An all-around good race there. And then prior to that at York, over the mile and a half in the Great Voltaire, winning by 1/4 lengths, he sat back early. Again, slowly moved his way up and got the job done. He likes the firm stuff. He's going to get it today. He's got to overcome a little bit of a wide post draw, but I think a 3-1 at great horses can do that. Watch out for him here. I think the 12-horse Shaheen from Japan is your second likeliest winner. He placed most recently in the Japan Cup at Tokyo over the mile and a half, where he just couldn't get there late. But he hasn't won since the Japanese Derby, which he won very nicely, only by a small margin. But he was really closing up well there. Some of his races last season, if he runs a quarter of those races, like if he runs a quarter of that Japan Cup, he's going to win this race by a mile. 4-1, we definitely have to use him here. And the 11-horse Dubai Honor here, he ran a little disappointingly in the Hong Kong Cup, but coming here to the mile and a half, which I think he should really adore, has a good trip, should like the firm ground. I think with a good trip, I think he should run a good race also. But to recount my selection for the 8th from Meydan, it's the Group 1 $6 million Dubai Sheema Classic. We're going to take the 14-horse Jabir. We'll go 14, 12, 11, TriCast, Trifecta. We'll use all three in that place pot. The 9th race from Meydan, it is the Group 1 Dubai World Cup. It's a Group 1 event going for a purse of $12 million, races for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here of 11 horses heading to the starting gate. The distance of ground of 2,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile 1/4 on the Meydan dirt track. 2,000 meters, a mile and a quarter here in the Dubai World Cup. My top selection, we're going to go take the number 7 horse, Life is Good. 7958 for me here. 7958. Top selection, 7 horse, Life is Good. This 4-year-old called by Into the Mischief. Top Pletcher trains. Ira Tees Jr. gets them out. Most recently in the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream on 8th and 29th of January. Everybody before the race, what were the tactics? Was Nick's going, Life is Good getting into a speed deal, and there's going to be somebody else winning? No. Life is Good broke so clearly that day, and this horse basically won it out of the gate. And the first 16th mile, when Nick's go to, challenge, this horse had the race done in hand. He quickened up nicely and just kept going, never really getting the whip that day. A paid workout, 110 buyer. That was quite impressive. Coming here to the mile and a quarter, on the other side of the world, shouldn't be a problem. I think he really won a good race. The post race, speed from the rail, absolutely killer here today, and I don't think there's going to be a speedier horse in this race. 2 back here in at Del Mar, 1 mile on the 6th of November in the Breeze Cup Dirt Mile, winning by 5 1/4 lengths. Again, he just had the speed that day. He quickened up nicely, and he kept going. A very, very good run for him. And then the Kelso at Belmont, 1 mile on the 25th of September. He won by 5.5 lengths, and again, cruise control that day. Another paid workout. Probably, I thought one of his most impressive races of 2021 was the place in the Allen Jerkins at Saratoga behind Jackie's Warrior, going 7 furlongs. He finished second by a neck. He just wasn't 100% cranked that day. Also, Mike Smith was just a little bit too cocky, I thought, in the saddle. He just couldn't get there. He couldn't keep up late. What can you do? But he still ran his heart out there. He's training well. Model Core shouldn't be a problem. Like I said, he has the speed from the inside. I think he's taking the shortest way around. 4 to 5, we'll use him here. I think if there's a horse that could possibly upset, it's the 9 horse, Midnight Bourbon. He's been the bridesmaid most recently, never the bride in quite a while, but he's run these great races. He's he's made $3.1 million off of only winning twice. That's how good of a horse he is. He placed he finished 3rd in the Saudi Cup, placed in the Louisiana Stakes, 3rd in the Clark Handicap, 2nd in the Pennsylvania Derby, 2nd in the Travers. Before the Triple Crown races weren't bad at all for him. At 10 to 1, he's gonna win one of these races one of these days. But he watch out for him. And if your wise guy horse, I think is the number 8 horse here, who is Magny Coors. I bet him in this race last year where he ran okay, but coming here today off of a disappointing race in Saudi Arabia, if he gets a good trip and a little bit more forwardly paced, watch out for him at 20 to 1. He has some hidden dirt pedigree. But to recap my selection for the 9th from Meydan, it's the Group 1 Dubai World Cup. We're going to take the 7 horse, Life is Good. 7958 for me here in the Dubai World Cup. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.